What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Or welcome if it's your first time here. Well, it should be obvious to anyone that's paying any attention at all that they've already decided to take us into World War III. Joe Biden came out last night and asked for more funding for Ukraine and funding for Israel. And according to Joe Biden, we can fund endless wars around the world. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. It's going to have a detrimental effect on the economy and inflation, that's for sure. However, it's going to get much, much worse because just funding these wars, having these proxy wars, isn't going to be enough for the deep state and the globalist military-industrial complex. They want World War III because they have to hide the fact that the economy is crashing. They want something to blame that crash on when war is a perfect opportunity to do that. They want depopulation of about 90%, I think that it was. They want to bring us into a central bank digital currency. They want to bring us into a universal basic income type system. And a third world war would be a perfect opportunity for them to do all of that. However, before this happens, they're going to have the support of the American people, or they always have in previous wars. We see history repeat itself over and over and over again, and to have boots on the ground is different than actually just sending billions of currency to Ukraine and Israel to fund these wars. Having boots on the ground, they want to have the backing, the support, and they want to rally the American people behind that ground war, and that all-out World War III was going to turn into. To do that, if you look at history, what they've always done is they've had a false flag type of event. Now, a false flag doesn't mean that no one dies. Usually they do. Usually lots of people do. A false flag simply means that it's something that happens that's blamed on someone else. This group here carries it out, blames it on this other group, so they get the backing of the population to support what they already planned on doing in the first place. Or it could be that they know this group's going to do something, they know what's going to happen, and they let it happen to use that as a rallying point to get people to go behind and support the military-industrial complex and the war machine and actual war and all the death and things that comes along with that. Look at the Gulf of Tonkin that got us into Vietnam. Look at Pearl Harbor. Look at 9/11. If you look at all these wars we got into, they all were preceded by some type of false flag event that was let happen. People died, unfortunately, but they don't care. If you look at my video from about 8 months ago, and I talked about the Operation Northwoods, and that was a plan when Kennedy was president, when John F. Kennedy was president, that the deep state came up with because they wanted to invade Cuba. So they came to Kennedy with this plan called Operation Northwoods, and they were going to wage actual terrorist attacks inside the United States, actually kill people, hijack planes, and do things to get the American people all worked up. And they're going to come up with evidence to blame Cuba, and they're going to use that as a rallying cry for the military to invade and take over Cuba. It's the same playbook over and over and over again. And it's going to happen, I think, here in the United States in probably a couple of weeks. It could be something happened here on U.S. soil domestically. After all, we had the border wide open, so everyone came through here. So it'll be a perfect opportunity to let something happen, or to have something happen and blame someone else. I mean, who knows what they're planning on doing? I don't know. I just know what history shows us. Before we go into a major war, long-term dragged-out war, they always have a false flag type of event to pull us into that war and to rally the American people behind that. And if you've been listening to the mainstream media and the politicians, then it's easy to see that that is the plan, because they keep talking about this being a possibility, that there could be a terrorist attack domestically here in the United States, that there could be an attack on one of our Navy ships, on some of our bases. They're already reporting on some minor attacks on some bases in the Middle East, and also on a Navy ship. I think 20 rockets is fired, and they were all intercepted, according to the last reports. So they're already talking about this, already building this up into people's minds, already getting the fear stirred up, because in my opinion, they know that's going to happen, because they have to have something major to get us into direct kinetic warfare. And it's going to spread out into World War III, and they know this. And when something happens, they're going to blame Iran, in my opinion, because that's what this is all about, is they want to take out Iran. They want to have a war with Iran, mainly because I think that Iran and Russia are working together Iran has been building drones for Russia and offering some military support and things like that, some trade, and they have a pretty good relationship as far as I know. Iran and Russia does. The United States wants to stop that, and NATO wants to stop that. So I think they're going to blame Iran 100%. It's going to be Iran's fault, and it will cause us to go into war with Iran, to declare war on Iran. And I think that when this happens, it's not going to be, 10, 20 deaths. I think when this major event happens, this big event happens, and probably in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be several thousand people dead. I think what happened on 9/11, I think it was 3,600 people dead on 9/11. So it's going to be big. And I think, like I said, it's going to be several thousand people who are going to lose their lives. And it could be domestically. It could be, a naval ship sunk. It could be something like that. I don't know what's going to happen exactly. But there will be a major event happen within the next couple of weeks, I think. It could be a little longer, but I think probably a couple of weeks to everything is playing out right now. Everything's going so quickly, moving along so quick, and the way they're already talking about the possibilities of things actually happening in the media and the politicians, I think it's going to be in a couple of weeks. A month at the most, 4 weeks at the most, or probably in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be massive loss of life. I would say 1,000 to several thousand people dead. It could be service members dead, or it could be some big domestic terrorist attack here in the United States to pull us into this, and the American people will rally behind the military-industrial complex because they will be led to believe that it was carried out by Iran, and it could be, I don't know, but you can bet 100% that it was let happen, in my opinion, that they knew it was coming, let it happen, that they wanted it to happen, because they want this war. It's obvious they want this war. And the way they're building up to this, they're going to blame Iran. Now, you think about it. Why would Iran, even though they do hate Israel, so we've been told, and I think that they do, they hate the United States because the United States is the great Satan and Israel's the little Satan, according to them. But they would know that sinking an aircraft carrier, for example, with a hypersonic missile or something like that is going to cause major retaliation by the United States and all-out war. Do they think they can win that war? Possibly. Do they have secret weapons they could use to win that war with that we don't know about? Possibly. But really, if you think about it, why would they risk a war with the United States and NATO by directly attacking, a Navy ship or carrying out attacks inside the United States? But even if it was Hamas that carried it out inside the United States or someone else, the United States, deep state, will blame Iran because they want that war against Iran, in my opinion. So, keep your head on the swivel, stock up, do the things you've been doing already, prep-wise, but know that more than likely there's a huge change that's going to happen. There's going to be a major attack inside the United States, probably, or it could be like an attack on a base, Navy ship or something like that with rockets and weapons and things to sink that maybe. But it's going to cause, I think, several thousand people to be dead. It's going to be enough to rally the American people behind the war machine, the military-industrial complex. It's going to be blamed on Iran, no matter if Iran was behind it or not. I don't see why Iran would want to go into war with the United States, but, who knows? This stuff gets really complicated, but just know that more than likely something is going to happen, some major event's going to happen, because they need this World War III event. They know Israel, Hamas, Iran, Syria, Hezbollah, they know it's just a powder keg over there ready to happen anyways. But they want this World War III because they know the economy is crashing, the dollar's going to hyperinflate. And they want to use this to bring in, universal basic income, central bank digital currency, martial law, because if something happens outside the United States, they could declare, martial law. They could suspend elections. They could take all property rights and everything under the rules of martial law. And I think it's part of the plan to pretty much put us into this Great Reset, all the Great Reset agenda, lower the population, universal basic income for whoever's left, central bank digital currencies, and to be, a prison planet, in my opinion. Anyway, what you think in the comments below. If you agree, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Give me your thoughts in the comments. What do you think? Do you think that there's going to be a major event in the next couple of weeks? Do you think it's going to be blamed on Iran? Do you think we're going to declare war on Iran? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Go to Creekmore Matter, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.